Hi everyone, this is a tutorial video to help you get started on Chapter 2.1. As always, the first thing we do is title our doc, and I'm going to sneak my cursor down here to Page Setup. I'm going to make the top and bottom margins smaller, save some paper. And somebody told me once that Georgia is the best font if you want to get a maximum amount of information on a page. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell this computer to outline and select the one that I like. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it better. And I'm going to put in the title of the section. Now, I see an introductory paragraph on page 36, so I'm going to read it out loud, but I'm going to set this up. Okay, so let's see what it says. I see a toaster. Here's a strange question. What do you have in common with a toaster? Something I often wonder. Give up? Okay, here's another question. What do you have in common with a steaming bowl of soup or a bright neon sign? You're probably thinking these are trick questions. After all, it's hard to imagine that a human, you, has anything in common with a kitchen appliance, some hot soup, or a glowing neon sign. It's all very interesting, but I don't see any important information in that introductory paragraph. I think it's just meant to get the reader interested. So, let's get to the facts. Everything is made of matter. Now, this is a blue section, so it must have all of the letters capitalized. And I'm just going to make it blue so you can see it, although the color is not required. From a scientific point of view, you have at least one characteristic in common with these things. You, the toaster, the bowl, the soup, the steam, the glass tubing, and the glowing gas are all made of matter. Okay, but what is matter exactly? If so many different things, kinds of things are made of matter, you might expect the definition of the word matter to be complicated. But it is really quite simple. Matter is anything that has volume and mass. Okay, so there's that. And now we have a definition. I'm going to press Control B to get this thing to outline in bold for vocabulary. I'm going to take the bold off. And that's that. And that's kind of annoying. So I'm just going to highlight by doing this. I'm going to click here and I'm going to drag to there. And I'm going to hit Control B. Darn, it didn't work. Oh well. Okay, so the perfectionist in me is going to cut this. And do that. I win. Okay, so one thing you ought to know about outlining is it's possible for the computer to get tricked into stopping outlining. So I guess it would happen like this. You would hit enter, and then you would maybe hit delete, whoops, and then naturally you would go to type in a 2 again, and it starts it up again for you, but it doesn't always do that. So what I would do instead in that scenario is if you accidentally kick it out of outlining mode, go to the previous line and hit enter, and that should make it start up again. So it looks like we're on our next blue section here. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to click Shift Tab, and back it goes. Now we're lined up, and here it is. Okay, so I'm in blue still, so I'm going to highlight down and then take it out of blue. Now let's read this next thing. All matter takes up space. All right, the amount of space taken up or occupied by an object is known as the object's volume. Volume. Amount of space taken up by object. Remember to talk like caveman. Control B makes that bold. Enter. And let's keep reading. The sun, shown in figure 1, has volume because it takes up space at the center of the solar system. Okay, so it looks like we have an example here. Sun. Now I'm going to read the figure at the bottom of the page. The volume of the sun is about 1,000,000 times larger than the volume of the earth. Sun equals 1,000,000 times larger than earth. Okay, good. I'll make that italics too. Now it's an example, clearly. And keep reading. Your fingernails, Statue of Liberty, the continent of Africa, and a cloud all have volume. All right. Cloud, Africa, fingernail, etc. These are also examples. I think that's fairly obvious, but I'm going to include it. Okay, remember, once again, Shift-Tab brings you back, and it's a good skill to use. And because these things have volume, they cannot share the same space at the same time. Okay, cannot share same space, same time. All right. Even the tiniest speck of dust takes up space, and there's no way another speck of dust can fit into that space without somehow bumping into the first speck. Okay, fascinating. Specks. There. And then it says, try the quick lab, blah, 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 and we're done with page 36. Let's go to page 37. Now we see a green section, liquid volume. It does not belong here, because that's for the blue sections. So, green section titles must be underlined. So I'm going to press Control U. I'm going to type in liquid volume. Now I'm going to press Control U to make it ununderlined. I'm going to hit Enter. And it looks like they're now suddenly talking about Lake Erie, which is an example. And I'm going to stop here. Let me make this green. I hope you see that outlining is easier than you think. And that maybe you're putting too much effort into it. And the real skill is to break down information from the text but still get the info. You really have to be the judge of what's important and what's not.